Hi,
Hello,
I'm Oliver the Ricketts.
I'm Brittany, still just Brittany.
This is my wonderful girlfriend, Brittany.
We're eating some candy pre-movie.
Don't listen to your parents.
Eat as
If
much
you're
candy
eating
as you want.
candy, you've done nothing illegal at all. We're about to go in and watch. What's the title of this
I
movie?
believe it's Won't You Be My Neighbor.
Which is the Mr. Rogers documentary.
I want to be delighted. I think I'm gonna cry. I mean, granted, I've been crying at a lot of movies lately.
I don't know if I'll cry. I hope this movie makes me feel some kind of way.
I hope the movie makes me feel the way the show did, if that makes sense. Because I watched the show as a kid.
That was going to be my next question.
I watched the show as a kid. I don't think I watched it as religiously as like other shows I might have watched, but I did watch it, and it always just felt very comforting. This was a guy you knew, like an older man that you knew.
One of those cool older man friends that all those kids have.
He was a safe comfort to people, to kids specifically. He had a way with children, and I think that, or at least I hope that, the movie will kind of portray that.
See, now, I didn't have Mr. Rogers when I was growing up. I got really into Mr. Rogers when I was in high school. I have a friend, his name is Dan. He's not gonna like that I told this story.
Oh, that's not Dan then. Your friend, Steve.
No, his name is Dan. Every now and then he'd come to me with like a suggestion. He comes to me on a Thursday, he goes, yo, I saw the fucking craziest shit last night when I was just surfing channels at like 4 a.m. There's this motherfucker in a sweater, and there was this guy who wanted to use his pool in the back, and there was a paraplegic child, and there were kids watching the whole thing, and we gotta watch it. He's typing it in. I see him type Mr. Rod, but it was definitely a big comfort.
It helps the loneliness.
Oh yeah. We're gonna go check out this movie.
Yep.
Hopefully it's great.
First.
We'll be right back with our ride home review.
It was a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
I thought it was gonna be more of like oh, look how great he is, you know, and it was that. But it also went, a guy like this would be scary to know to some degree. How can somebody be that good?
Somebody that they had been interviewing said that the most common question that they get asked is, was he like that in real life? And the answer was yes. And I think that that's really, really incredible because, you know, especially nowadays with how fake a lot of stuff is, how like reality television has changed the way that people are and the way people act, and you know, to know that somebody was that genuinely good and happy and accepting and loving and tolerant, like, that would be scary. I would be scared to be in the presence of somebody like that. I would feel like I was in the presence of, like, for lack of a better word, like a saint.
Somebody that I cannot understand.
How is it that you're real? How do you exist in this way?
You know, you were saying that he reminded you of Andy Kaufman.
Yeah, I got a real, like, not that he reminded me of Andy Kaufman, but when I was watching the movie, I got really strong Andy Kaufman vibes. Towards the end of Andy Kaufman's life, all he wanted was to make the people around him happy. He wasn't doing things to goof on people. Mr. Rogers was never doing anything to make people feel like he's duping them in some way.
Right.
We want to live in this world where people can be nice to each other, can be good to one another.
And I think the thing with both of them that stands out is that none of it is career moves. None of it is pushing myself forward. You know, Andy Kaufman would do all these things. He was on a hit sitcom and he just quit, you know, because it wasn't what he wanted to do. He would go on SNL and he would do these bits that were not bits. It just felt good to watch him sing Mighty Mouse.
Right.
And that's what he did. With Mr. Rogers, they keep saying, like, there is no reason, if you're trying to push yourself forward, that you would make a show like that.
Right.
People who are like that their brain is just wired differently. Like, there's something in them that makes them want to make other people happy, and not everybody is hooked up like that.
It's a very altruistic way of being.
Right.
He was going to be a minister. He was in his senior year, he said, and then he came home and he discovered television. I mean, like, that, like, blew my mind.
That's
Like,
insane.
he discovered television, and in the next, like,
Breath.
sentence of talking said, I'm gonna be on TV.
Like, conception of TV. And that becomes your whole entire life. Like, that was your greater calling.
Right.
That when you were born, it wasn't, like, invented.
A chunk of the movie was set in the late 60s.
Right.
And it's amazing to see that the things that were problems then are still problems now, and are still causing people to feel the exact same way they felt. The entire time I was watching the movie, knowing that we were going to have this conversation afterwards, I kept thinking to myself over and over and over again, how would Mr. Rogers feel? How would Fred Rogers feel if he were alive right now? He would be depressed. I don't know this man, you know, but I feel privileged to have been influenced by him.
Right.
And he said it a lot. I just love children. I understand children. I like to speak with children. You know, children have just as many emotions as adults do and feel them just as strongly as adults do. And I think he'd be really heartbroken to see what's happening, especially with our youth.
And that kids are dealing with a lot more adult things.
Kids are
than they should
100% dealing with more adult things now than I think they have in the past.
That's so heavy.
Yeah. None of it was really meant to be very sad.
No.
You really just did feel good seeing all the good that Fred Rogers did.
It's calm, and it takes its time, and it's just a nice, calming thing to have on. Glad that we saw it.
Me too. I give it 10 out of 10 colored sweaters.
And I'm just ready to move into this movie's neighborhood. Thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching our
Ride Home Review.
Ride Home Review.